Up next, we've got Drew Valek, the founder of NFT Labs. Hey, Drew, thanks so much for joining. How are you doing, man?
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Zach. How about yourself?
I'm great. I noticed that you gave a live speech at the beginning of the week. So how did that go?
It was good. It was a live event in Atlanta, and it was my first time public speaking. This being, second or third, so it's been good. Enjoyed it.
It's awesome that you're getting yourself out there. Can you kindly tell everyone what is NFT Labs and what it is that you guys do?
Yeah. So essentially, we are the NFT Labs. It's a company I founded a couple months ago, and essentially we work with NFT artists and digital artists who create individual assets and collections, really in any other NFT related projects for brands, athletes, individuals. And right now we're primarily working within the digital art space. We'll kind of be transitioning to do more and more in other industries next year in 2022.
That's very interesting, man. And can you tell everyone, how did you yourself get involved in the blockchain space?
Sure. Yeah. So it was, I guess I would say it was pre-COVID era, for as long as it now, way that it now seems. But yeah, I was living in San Francisco with a couple of roommates, and they were heavily involved in the space and just kind of pulled me into it, over time. And I really just kind of, dove deeper and deeper into it as time went on. And yeah, earlier this year, I was working with a company doing some stuff with Bitcoin infrastructure, and kind of along the way, just fell in love with NFTs, and here we are.
That's amazing, man. And can you tell us at NFT Labs, what projects are you guys currently working on right now?
Yeah, so definitely. So we, kind of started the company just because we saw a lot of opportunities to really help brands, implement NFTs within different industries. And so, we kind of work with different brands and, like I said, individuals to kind of, tap into their communities or into different marketing aspects to create value around those brands. So.
It's very interesting. So on that note then, Drew, how is NFT Labs impacting the NFT space?
Yeah, so I guess whenever first launching a project in this space, there's a lot of stuff to consider. Just looking at something in the art space, you really have to navigate the creation of the assets, what the concept of the market's going to positively respond to. Really have to consider how it's going to be announced and unveiled. You need to have a solid marketing plan and blueprint kind of laid out to, attack the different mediums and really get the word out. Most important thing here, obviously, is community building, making sure that a community is properly managed and engaged to really maintain the long-term value of an asset over time. I think for a NFT project to be one that's successful, it has to be really in a system that makes it a viable long term, right? And so I guess if you look at like something like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, they've that was a project that was originally listed for like a few $100 whenever it was launched a while back, and now you had to drop a few $100,000 really to be a part of the club now, and that's really kind of comes down to them really creating a long-term value of all these assets, managing the community to the best extent. And so yeah, so we work with these brands, these individuals to kind of make sure that all this is looked after, and that they're able to launch a successful and a healthy NFT campaign.
That's fantastic, man. And could you tell me, how do you feel personally that the NFT market is impacting the job market as a whole?
Sure. Yeah. So I think right now a lot of people really see NFTs as art. They see it's made kind of the biggest splashes so far this year in the digital art world, right? But it really has so many more use cases across a lot of different industries. As a lot of the speakers today have already alluded to. So I think if you go back and look at an asset that everyone kind of knows today, the Mona Lisa. It's really not the raw materials like the paint or the canvas that makes it valuable, but it's the fact that it's an asset that represents something that's much larger than itself, right? And so similar with NFTs, they're not just pixels, but they're assets that are going to really represent something much larger than themselves, or are kind of in a system that gives it value and utility, but beyond what's seen by the eye. So yes, I think when you kind of consider that, NFTs can really be applied to a lot of different industries and solve a lot of pain points. Some of my favorites. So I think if you look at the music industry, just the way that if you're an up-and-coming artist, distributing, kind of an album or a song, is a flawed in a lot of ways, to where if you, are distributing, like I said, an album or a song, you have to cut profits up with, a producer, a PR manager, marketing, really can have money flying in all different places, right? And NFTs have the advantage of they really allow these artists to connect directly with their with the listeners, and kind of helps them see a larger cut of the earning potential, right? So I think there's a Canadian artist that launches his NFT. Sorry, he launched his album as an NFT back in August, and he minted his album and sold all 1 million copies within 57 seconds, and that was obviously the fastest album.
Tory Lanez,
yeah,
Tory Lanez,
so,
for sure. He sold it for $1, right? So every album was only $1, and he said to his fans that I'm gonna do this for you guys, my fans, right? And I promise you, this is going to increase in value, right? And he's from Brampton, Ontario. Thank you, Joshua, our speaker who's Canadian, who's up next as well. But the really funny thing about that, Drew, and I'm really happy that you mentioned that, right, is like a few weeks afterwards, the value of that rose from $1 to 50,000 just for that NFT, right? And that just shows you the power of NFTs for sure. How would people get in contact with you in NFT Labs?
Yeah, so it can be reaching out, usually LinkedIn's kind of the best way to get in touch, or, where it's the NFT Labs.design. There's different ways to get in contact with us there.
Cool. I have put all the links to your social medias in the description below. It's been an absolute delight speaking to you today again, Drew. I'll speak to you again soon, and enjoy the rest of your day, man. Appreciate you coming.
Appreciate it.
Take care.